Wait, can I do like a whole 360 on this thing?
Everybody hears you right now. We got a cameraman today, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put the live view on for him to be able to see it. So y'all give me just a second.
Like.
There you go. Check it out. All right, so Alex is my camera guy today.
Yeah.
All right, keep me in frame, man. Make me look good. Don't shake it, man. You're live.
Oh.
Can you see me good?
Yeah, you're
All
still
right.
giving me the camera on this thing.
Yeah, walk with me.
Okay.
We're gonna walk and talk. We're trying this out, guys. But no, I wanted to take a couple of minutes anyway and share some stuff. I've been having some interesting thoughts on the new economic system and some things that are happening. So I wanted to share some stuff that have been on my heart a lot here lately. I posted a video on YouTube. I'm going to share it here in just a little bit that gets a little more in depth than a few of the economic things. But on the spiritual level, when Joseph interpreted Pharaoh's dream about the cows and about when there was a famine coming in the land, one of the things that happened during that we tend to overlook is that God used Joseph to completely Pharaoh's land, right? Whenever that happened, the famine came, and they knew, hey, we need to get prepared. We need to store food. We need to store, wheat and grain and all that kind of stuff, because you're going to have 3.5 good years, 3.5 bad, that whole deal. Well, I think we're on the precipice of that, and we're about to see some really interesting things financially. And I want to take a minute and share, how do you expand your territory during the famine, right? It's on the horizon. All the stimulus money's gone right after the holidays. I really think we're going to see some layoffs. I think the economic system as a whole is, I don't know that we're going to have a crash per se. A lot of people are doom and gloom. Hey, the whole thing's going to crash, it's going to go down. I don't know that that's necessarily the case. But one of the things I do think that is going to happen is there's going to be a pretty big downturn in some of that stuff. So the housing market's already starting to kind of fall off a little bit. A lot of like retail sales are already falling off. Expecting Christmas not to be quite as strong as normal. Things that we can do spiritually during that is we can take advantage of that a little bit. And you hear that word, take advantage, like, oh, we're taking advantage of the people that are hurting, that are struggling. It's not necessarily that. It's literally just going to be taking advantage of the time that we're running in, right? And Pharaoh was able to expand his land. Why was he able to do that? Because he was prepared, right? He was prepared with food. So other countries would come to him and they would trade their land for his resources. And his resources at the time were whatever, food and grain, and I don't know that water necessarily was a part of it, but because he understood the word of the Lord that he received from the prophet, he was able to take advantage, and God used an ungodly Pharaoh and expanded his territory because of a godly man, right? That whole recounting is just so much power in it. But what we look at is, as things start to slow down for us economically here in the country, to learn how to take advantage of what that looks like. So if you're working a 9-to-5 job right now, it may be a good time to get them, right? Paying off debt's always a good thing, but right now, as for me and our family, we're trying to get a bit more liquid, which means I'm just trying to stack a little bit of cash. And a few reasons behind that. If my credit card debt or my car loan or whatever, if any of that goes bad, I can recover from that. You know what I'm saying? If I have to write off a credit card and it goes bad and I can't afford to pay for it, it sucks, absolutely, but it's not the end of the world, right? But if we don't have enough finances to keep our house in order, we can't keep our power on, we can't keep our water on, those are things that are slightly more difficult to come back from, because then you're starting from scratch, right? Here, we can walk a little bit. We'll get out from under Buddy. Buddy's decided to join us out here. So what we're doing is we're going to get a little more liquid. We're going to keep some extra capital in the bank. And if you're doing a 9-to-5 right now and you're living paycheck to paycheck, and I've been there, 100% have been there, one of the things I would recommend is look at the things that you can begin in order to build up a bit of a stockpile. And don't put that money right now. I'm not putting that money right now towards debt. Let me put it that way. I'm trying to stockpile some of that, right? You do what you want. You do what you feel good about. Just telling you what I'm doing. Whenever you have cash in a downturn, it gives you a bit of margin, right? So one of the biggest stressors in marriage and life in general is money, is finances, right? So one of the things that we need to do as the body, as the bride of Christ, we need to come together, and one, we need to be willing to take care of each other. Jesse Duplantis used to say, how can you help the poor if you're poor, right? It's hard to do that. If you're broke and they're broke, it's kind of hard to help people, right? And it's not to say that you can't pray for them, you can't go up and love on them, you can't encourage them, but if you don't have food, they don't have food, how do you get food, right? You got to kind of count on some of that. So I believe the Lord wants to position the church and the body and the bride in order to meet the needs of the people and the communities around us. And I'm really excited about this in a way. It's going to be bad for some folks. There's going to be a lot of money lost. There's already been a lot of money lost, but there's going to be more lost. So as the church, I feel like it's our obligation to steward our relationship with the Lord one well, steward our relationship with others well, steward our finances, our resources well, and that's kind of where we are. So all the things that have been happening, you'll see, man. Even England right now, they're like, they were days away from defaulting on a ton of their payments, and if that ever happened, then you're going to see, banks are going to have a hard time meeting withdrawals, or loans are going to get forfeited on. Just a lot of bad stuff. So as the bride, I feel like we can position ourselves in a way now, if we begin to prepare today. This stuff doesn't happen like that. A lot of people think, hey, I'm going to wake up in the morning and then the banks are going to be broke, right? It doesn't work like that. It takes time. So right now we're on the downhill slope of something that's going to get a little bit nasty for a little while. It will come back, guys. At some point, if we believe prophecy, the economic system has to completely fail. I don't know that that's today, but at some point, if we believe prophecy, and we believe a one world currency is coming, how else is that going to happen? Well, all the currencies have to fail, right? So that will eventually happen. I don't know that that's today. So we're going to plan like it's not today. If that does happen, there's going to be bigger issues, I promise you. So one of the things I want to encourage you about, how do you expand your land during the famine? Well, one, you begin to gather resources in the time right now. We just entered into basically the new, right now, Rosh Hashanah, the New Year's coming up, Yom Kippur is coming up in a little bit. It's a really significant time in the biblical times. A lot of really interesting stuff happened during that time. But one of the things we need to take advantage of is, if you have resources right now, begin to stockpile those a little bit. And it's not to say to get greedy or get stingy. It's none of that. It's to say, I can spread the gospel even more when times are bad. If you come to my house today and you need a freezer full of food, I could go buy it, no problem. There's food on the fridge, there's food on the shelves, there's money in the bank, we're good, right? But if you come in 8 months, 9 months, a year, when things maybe aren't as plentiful as they are now, and I'm able to do that, and why can you do that? Well, because God showed me. Then that opens a door to begin to minister the gospel. So one, you're spreading your territory. You're expanding the kingdom during a time of lack in the planet, right? Another way is you're able to take advantage of deals. So if you're in business right now, if you're in a retail business right now, it's a really good time to begin to stockpile a bit of cash, because there's going to be a fire sale on stuff in the next 6 months to 18 months, right? Fire sale meaning, right now, if you're paying for, like, I started a knife business about 6 months ago, and I'm buying and selling knives on eBay, right? And right now I'm paying, a couple $100 for a knife. Well, that same knife in 18 months, I believe I'm going to be able to get for half that price. And then if I can afford to hold it, I'm going to be able to flip it and triple my money on it. So some of that's just us being able to pay attention and keep a mindset of where can we go, and begin to ask the Lord, God, what are things right now that need to be sacrificed in order to get to that place to where I can steward the provision that you've given me well. And that's really what it is. It's a question of stewardship, Again, it's not stingy, it's not greedy, and anybody that's anti-capitalism, man, I'll debate the absolute crap out of you with that capitalism is the absolute best system, period. If you really look at it, the kingdom of heaven is ran on it's more of a Marxist, or more of a kind of system, because God controls everything in the kingdom, and he stewards it, right? And in a perfect world, that works great. And in the kingdom, it works wonderfully, because God can't be moved, can't be swayed, can't be positioned by men, right? Well, men can. Men can get swayed. If I like you more, I'm going to give you more. If I think I'll get more out of you later, I'll give you more. So capitalism doesn't allow for that to matter as much. Capitalism says, hey, if I'm willing to work really hard and I get a good idea and I've got a pain tolerance that I can sacrifice and give, then I can begin to grow in business, right? And because of that, I believe God's given certain people, I believe I'm one of those people, a gift of business. And the gift of being able to help other people learn how to do business, learn how to do, community through an entrepreneurial way, right? So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at. I know some of this may or may not make sense yet. I'm going to be doing some videos in the next couple of weeks that are going to hit on some of this, maybe giving some ideas of businesses that do really well during times that kind of downturn. How you can begin to sacrifice a little bit. Maybe you don't need the combo from Jack's every day. Maybe you could do the combo from Jack's every third day and pocket the rest, right? You know, eat a sandwich, eat some beans, eat some greens, eat rice, eat stuff that's a little more affordable in order to stockpile a little bit of cash, right? I'm telling you, if you have money in the next 18 months, a couple $100, $300, $800, $1,200, I ended up getting into this knife business on accident. I started buying and selling Leathermans in Facebook groups, and I started selling them on eBay, right? And it was completely accidental. Well, now it's like a six-figure business. It's stupid how it happened, but God is be able to bring other people with me as I'm doing it. So if you've got some business ideas that you want some help on, man, please PM me, shoot me some messages. I'd love to talk with you about it. I really believe God's positioning the bride right now to be able to expand, right? When it's easy, people tend to look away and, hey, I don't really need God. I'm just going to kind of do my own thing. But when it gets difficult, people begin to turn to the Lord. And people also begin to turn to those people that they've seen be consistent. And you maybe don't, hey, why don't you kind of happens, you don't dog cuss everybody around you, you know what I mean? And it's like, well, that's because I've adopted the lifestyle of the bride. I've adopted the lifestyle of Christ in those businesses and those and His attributes, right? It's not to say we don't slip up, we don't mess up every now and then, but it's to say that most of the time when you're pressed and you're squeezed, the gospel comes out, right? So in order to expand our territory during the time of famine, I really think that the bride, we have to come together and we have to say, all right, well, how can we, one, begin to steward our resources well? How can we then also begin to help others learn how to steward our resources well, their resources? What are things we can sacrifice in order to have the next stage of life, right? What are those things that we can look at? And if you're in real estate right now, if you're a realtor, I'd really encourage you to go ahead and get an emergency fund up, right? It is what it is. I think that's on the downhill slope, guys. Not to say it will not come back. It's going to come back, and you may still be selling houses, but if you sold 12 houses last year, what if you only sold 4 next year, 8 next year, right? So begin to prepare for things like that. So it's on the horizon. But love you guys. I'm excited. I'm encouraged with the time. I think that it's going to be an opportunity for the gospel to go forward. I think it's going to be an opportunity for the kingdom to go forward. I think it's going to be an opportunity for the bride of Christ to really step up, and we can begin to then minister to those that are hurting, that are struggling, even if we do misstep and we don't have quite enough. But one of the things that the church can do is whenever people are lacking of finances or lacking of resources, if we do it well, we'll be able to help steward into those people also. So the church isn't just a place now that just takes everything and puts it into a building, or takes everything and puts it into salaries, or takes everything and just gives out 5%, 10%. If you really buy into the tithing thing and you run or operate a church and your church isn't tithing, I'd question your motives a little bit, Again, I have an understanding of tithing I feel like is unique, but anyway, I know I've hit a lot of points. I'm going to be releasing some videos the next couple of weeks I'm excited about, and I think that God's going to use these to help to minister to the people that are willing to hear it. And it's not a doom and gloom thing, guys. This is an opportunity for you to create generational wealth, potentially. It's going to be an opportunity for you to create relationships that will be kingdom-guided relationships, that we can minister to those that are hurting and struggling because we've stewarded well our time and we've stewarded well the Word of God. And I really believe this is a word of the Lord to the people that are hearing it, that it's an opportunity now that we need to begin gathering resources. What can we sacrifice in order to do that so that we can move forward as the bride, right? So love you guys. I hope you all have a great day. I'll be shooting some videos, like I said, next couple of weeks. I feel like that. If you do have some questions in business, love to talk with you about it. God's gifted me in that, and I'm excited to share those ideas and opportunities with people. You can kind of see I'm nasty, been working on a tractor. We're building a worship center, community center out at property that my wife and I own. So really excited about that, and we're going to do it in this downturn. There's a recession on the horizon. We're going to choose not to be going to continue to bless us, and I feel I really do. So anyway, love you guys. Hope you all have a good day. We're going to kill it.
All right, that's a wrap.
And it's a wrap.